What if the dream you keep seeing is not random? What if it is not imagination, not coincidence, but a message sent directly to you? This is the soul of The Alchemist, written by Paulo Coelho, a book that does not shout, does not rush, but whispers, a book that speaks to those who are still brave enough to listen to their hearts. The story begins with a young shepherd named Santiago. He lives in the countryside of Spain. His life is simple. He owns a flock of sheep, a few books, and endless roads. He sleeps under the stars. He wakes up with the sun. From the outside, he looks free, but inside, something is missing. One night, Santiago has a dream. In the dream, he travels far from his homeland, across deserts, until he reaches the pyramids of Egypt. There, a child tells him, "There is a treasure waiting for you." Santiago wakes up, his heart beating faster than usual. He tries to ignore the dream, but it comes back, again and again. This is the first great lesson of the book. When a dream repeats itself, it is because life is trying to get your attention. In real life, this happens more than we admit. A business idea that keeps returning, a talent you cannot forget, a vision that refuses to leave you alone. Most people silence these dreams because listening feels dangerous. Santiago chooses to listen. Searching for meaning, Santiago meets a mysterious old man named Melchizedek, the king of Salem. The old man speaks calmly, but his words are powerful. He introduces Santiago to the idea of a personal legend. He says, "Your personal legend is what you have always wanted to accomplish." But he also gives a warning. As people grow older, fear replaces curiosity. They begin to believe dreams are childish, and safety is wisdom. Melchizedek tells Santiago something that changes everything. When you want something, all the universe conspires to help you achieve it. This is not motivation. This is responsibility. Because once you hear this, you can no longer pretend you didn't know. The old man gives Santiago 2 stones, Urim and Thummim, symbols to help him read the signs when he feels lost. And then comes the decision. Santiago sells his sheep. He gives up the life he knows for a life he does not understand yet. This is the moment where dreams stop being thoughts and become actions. In real life, this is the hardest step. Leaving comfort, leaving certainty, leaving excuses. Many people admire dreams, but few walk toward them. Santiago does. And with that single step, his journey truly begins. Santiago leaves Spain, carrying only hope and a heart full of dreams. He arrives in Tangier, a city bustling with unfamiliar sounds, smells, and colors. At first, everything seems exciting. The streets are crowded, with merchants shouting, and travelers moving in every direction. But soon, reality hits hard. Santiago's money is stolen. As he sleeps on the steps of a stranger's house, thinking he is safe. He has no friends in this city. He cannot understand the language. He does not know the customs. He is completely alone. This is the second great lesson of the book. The moment you choose to pursue your dream, life will test you in ways you never imagined. In real life, this is something everyone experiences. The first attempt to start a business fails. The first job interview ends in rejection. A friend betrays your trust. A plan you spent months preparing collapses. Many people give up here because fear whispers go back. Return to what is comfortable. Return to safety. But Santiago does not give up. He does not cry or complain. He chooses to learn, to grow, and to observe. He finds work with a crystal merchant, a man who has been working for years, but who has lost hope and forgotten his dreams. Santiago begins working every day. He cleans the shop carefully, polishes the crystals, and arranges the displays with precision. He notices small details that no one else sees. He begins to experiment with ideas, new ways to display the crystals. selling smaller sets, and creating bundles for travelers. He talks to customers, listens to their stories, and slowly, he begins to understand their desires. As the shop begins to grow, Santiago notices something remarkable. Every setback he faced was teaching him something. Every loss was a hidden lesson. He begins to understand the language of the world, the signs, the omens, the small coincidences that guide those who are paying attention. He realizes that the universe does indeed conspire, but only when you are ready to act. In real life, many of us wait for the perfect moment. We wait for clarity. We wait for comfort. We wait for certainty. But the universe rarely gives clear directions. It often sends lessons disguised as obstacles. It tests your courage and patience before revealing the path. Santiago starts to see these tests not as punishments, but as messages, signals pointing him closer to the treasure he seeks. He learns patience. He learns observation. He learns to trust the unseen forces of life. He learns that true courage is continuing forward, even when nothing seems certain. Slowly, he transforms. The boy who once only dreamed of adventure becomes the man who shapes his destiny, who reads the world and understands its hidden truths. In real life, this is the path of every dreamer. Every entrepreneur, every artist, every leader faces doubt, loss, and failure. But those who persist, who study, adapt, and act, are the ones who eventually succeed. Santiago's journey reminds us that success is never a straight road. It is full of obstacles, but each obstacle contains a lesson, if you are willing to see it, to hear it, and to learn. By the end of this part, Santiago has learned more than survival. He has learned the importance of faith, patience, and attention. He begins to understand that the journey itself is the greatest teacher. The treasure is not only a physical reward, it is the wisdom gained along the path, the courage found in adversity, the clarity that comes after confusion, the insight that comes from paying attention. This is the essence of part 2, the part where dreams meet reality, where fear and hope clash, where the soul learns to grow, and where a young shepherd begins to become the master of his own destiny. Santiago leaves Tangier with lessons learned, and his eyes fixed on the horizon. The desert stretches endlessly before him, golden sands moving with the wind, as if they were alive, as if they were whispering secrets. He walks for days, the sun burning above, the nights freezing cold, the stars his only companions. Each step is a test of faith. Each moment is a challenge to his resolve. The desert teaches him patience. He learns to read the wind, the clouds, the signs that most travelers ignore. In the desert, Santiago meets the Englishman, a scholar searching for the secrets of alchemy. The Englishman carries books. He studies symbols. He memorizes formulas. He believes that wisdom is contained in pages alone. Santiago learns a new lesson. Knowledge is important, but experience teaches the deeper truths. The Englishman talks about the philosopher's stone and the elixir of life, the ultimate rewards of alchemy. But Santiago begins to understand that the real alchemy is not in turning lead into gold, but in transforming oneself. He reflects on his own journey, how every step, every challenge, has shaped his heart, his mind, his soul. The desert is harsh, but it strips life down to essentials. No distractions, no excuses, no comfort. Just the soul, and the pursuit of one's personal legend. He notices how many people fail in life, not because they cannot succeed, but because they never truly pursue their dreams. They look for shortcuts. They fear the unknown. They seek gold without effort. They look at the desert and turn back before learning its lessons. Santiago continues walking. He observes the small miracles around him, the sudden appearance of an oasis, the birds guiding him to water, the soft movement of sand, indicating the presence of life beneath. He realizes that the universe is always speaking. We only need to learn its language. In life, this is true for everyone. The opportunities appear. The signs are everywhere. But most of us are blind. We wait for obvious directions. We ignore subtle guidance. We give up too soon. Santiago learns to trust, to move forward even without certainty, to embrace the unknown, and to see obstacles as teachers, not punishments. This is the beginning of mastery, the mastery of one's destiny, the transformation of a boy into a man, who can recognize the treasure that is already within, and find the treasure outside as well. After many days of walking under the relentless sun, Santiago finally reaches an oasis, a miraculous patch of green in the vast golden desert. Palm trees sway gently with the wind, and the water reflects the sunlight like tiny diamonds scattered across the surface. The air smells sweet with vegetation, and Santiago feels a wave of relief and awe. Here, in the middle of emptiness, life thrives, and he senses a deeper truth about the universe. At the oasis, he meets Fatima, a woman whose eyes carry the wisdom of the desert. She is calm, strong, and patient, and Santiago immediately senses a connection that transcends words. He feels something unfamiliar yet profound, a love that does not demand or confine but supports and understands. He realizes that love, like the desert, has its own rhythm, its own patience, and its own lessons. Santiago falls in love with Fatima, not as a distraction from his personal legend, but as a companion of the soul. He learns that true love does not stop ambition, it encourages it. True love waits and trusts. Fatima tells him that she will wait, not because she wants him to remain, but because she knows that a life without pursuing one's dreams is incomplete. Santiago understands that love does not hold him back, it teaches him courage, faith, and patience. Life in the desert is harsh, and Santiago observes the dangers that surround the oasis. Tribes sometimes clash over water and land, and travelers face extreme heat, sandstorms, and isolation. He understands that courage is not the absence of fear but the choice to act despite it. The desert shows him that survival, patience, and observation are as important as dreaming. Every movement of the wind, every pattern in the sand, every sound of the wildlife carries meaning for those who are willing to notice. Santiago also learns from the Englishman, who is preoccupied with books and formulas. While the Englishman studies alchemy from theory, Santiago realizes that wisdom is found in experience, in listening to the heart, in observing the signs of the universe. Knowledge alone is not enough. Action, attention, and adaptation are essential. Santiago begins to see that the true treasure of alchemy is self-transformation, the ability to turn fears into courage, doubts into insight, and challenges into guidance. He notices small miracles around him every day, the sudden arrival of birds that indicate water nearby, the soft footprints of desert animals hinting at hidden life, and the oasis itself, a green paradise appearing in the harsh desert. Each observation teaches him to read the language of the world, to trust the signs, and to act with both patience and decisiveness. Santiago reflects on his journey so far. He recalls Melchizedek, who taught him about the personal legend, and the crystal merchant, who allowed fear to imprison his potential. He realizes that every person he has met, every challenge he has faced, every moment of doubt, was a teacher preparing him for this stage. He understands that life itself is the ultimate school and that every experience carries a hidden lesson for those willing to learn. He spends time in the oasis, learning from Fatima, the desert, and the universe. He practices patience, listening, and discernment. He grows not only in skill and courage but also in emotional depth, understanding that love, like dreams, requires trust, respect, and timing. Fatima's presence is a reminder that life's treasures are both internal and external, that the heart and the world can coexist in harmony when guided by purpose. With each passing day, Santiago strengthens his resolve to continue toward the pyramids. He knows that the treasure awaits, but he also realizes that the treasure is not simply gold or material wealth. The treasure is the wisdom gained, the courage nurtured, and the insight developed along the journey. Fatima is part of his treasure, a symbol of love, faith, and patience, but she is not a barrier to his destiny. He must pursue his personal legend fully before returning to her, stronger and complete. This stage of the journey teaches a profound lesson, that love does not compete with ambition, but complements it. True love waits, trusts, and nurtures. It encourages growth rather than inhibits it. And in this understanding, Santiago begins to see that the journey itself, the challenges, the observations, the patience, and the choices, is more valuable than the treasure he seeks. He leaves the oasis with a renewed sense of purpose, carrying the lessons of love, patience, courage, and trust in the universe. He walks into the desert once more, prepared for the trials ahead, knowing that every step brings him closer to both the treasure and the mastery of his own soul. Santiago continues his journey across the vast, golden desert, each step heavier than the last, yet his heart feels lighter with every mile he travels. The sun blazes relentlessly above, while the nights bring a cold that pierces to the bone, and the wind shifts the sand into endless, ever-changing waves. Every moment in the desert teaches him patience, resilience, and the subtle lessons hidden in nature. He observes the dunes as they ripple with the wind, noticing the patterns, the shadows, and the occasional footprints of desert animals. He begins to understand that even the harshest environment carries a message for those who are willing to listen. As he approaches the pyramids, Santiago feels a mix of anticipation, fear, and excitement. He recalls Melchizedek's words about the personal legend, the lessons from the crystal merchant about fear and stagnation, the Englishman's pursuit of knowledge, and Fatima's patient love waiting at the oasis. Each memory reinforces his understanding that the treasure is not merely a physical reward but a reflection of the journey itself, the growth, wisdom, courage, and faith developed along the way. Finally, Santiago reaches the pyramids. Their towering forms rise from the sand like golden sentinels, casting long shadows over the desert. He begins digging at the spot indicated in his dreams, only to find nothing at first. Doubt whispers, but he recalls the lessons learned in the desert: patience, observation, and trust in the signs. He does not give up. He knows that the universe communicates in mysterious ways and that every challenge, every moment of despair, is an essential part of the path. During this time, Santiago encounters a group of travelers who seem ordinary at first but reveal unexpected wisdom. They share stories of persistence, mistakes, and discoveries that reshape their lives. Santiago listens closely, realizing that the universe often speaks through unexpected messengers and that guidance appears when one is ready to recognize it. He remembers the recurring signs from his past, the stars, the wind, the birds, and sees how each had led him closer to this moment. Then comes the ultimate realization: the true treasure has always been closer than he imagined. Recalling the church in Spain where he first dreamed of the treasure, Santiago returns there with a mix of hope and certainty. He digs beneath the tree where he had first slept and discovers a chest filled with gold, jewels, and artifacts of immense value. Yet, the physical treasure is only part of the reward. He feels the deeper satisfaction of understanding the universe's language, the courage he has cultivated, the wisdom earned from every challenge, and the love he carries for Fatima. The real treasure, Santiago realizes, is the journey itself. Each test, every trial, every act of courage, patience, and observation has shaped him into a man capable of recognizing his own destiny. The desert, the oasis, the encounters with strangers, and the lessons of love, fear, and resilience all contributed to his transformation. He is no longer the boy who dreamed beneath the stars. He is a man who understands the delicate balance between heart, mind, and soul. In life, this is the path of every seeker. Goals and ambitions are important, but the experiences, the lessons, and the personal growth along the way define true success. Santiago understands that failure is temporary, obstacles are teachers, and dreams are achievable when approached with persistence, trust, and awareness. He knows that the universe will conspire in his favor only when he is ready to act, listen, and learn. Returning to Fatima, Santiago brings more than material wealth. He brings a transformed spirit, a heart full of wisdom, and an understanding of love that complements his dreams. He realizes that love and ambition are not in conflict but harmonize when guided by patience, respect, and clarity. The oasis, Fatima, and the lessons of the desert are symbols of the treasures of life that exist both externally and internally. The final lessons of the Alchemist are profound and timeless. Pursue your personal legend relentlessly, trust the guidance of the universe, embrace challenges as lessons, cultivate courage and patience, observe the subtle signs of life, and recognize that every person, every encounter, and every experience carries wisdom for those who are willing to see it. True alchemy is not transforming lead into gold but transforming oneself, fears into courage, dreams into reality, and experiences into insight. Santiago stands at the edge of the desert once more, chest heavy with treasure, heart full of love, and mind filled with clarity. He understands that the ultimate journey is never about the destination alone. It is about how he has changed, how he has grown, and how he has learned to listen to the whispers of the world. The desert, the pyramids, the oasis, and the people he met are eternal reminders that the universe communicates with those who are attentive, patient, and courageous. Santiago is now a master of his destiny, a student of the universe, and a living testament that the true treasures of life are found not just in gold, but in wisdom, love, and the courage to follow one's dreams fully.